It's Jota.
What's up?
Hi, Aisha.
That's fine.
Hello, how are
All I can
you?
do is tell you ahead of time.
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
They just
Um,
don't make it easy. That's the problem.
Okay, cool.
so
So
we're gonna-
who all is where? Let's see. I see Austin is on, so that's great.
Mhm.
Hello.
At 64, who's there?
Draw. Yeah, if he's not here. Here.
Cynthia's here.
Okay, great. Cynthia.
Left us a-
A big old message in the middle here. Sorry. Okay, so we have over here, I think. Isabella.
Um,
Isabella, have you said Marcella? How did you get into the chair?
She doing it on my laptop?
You just gotta do it on something? I thought you were gonna put in the room here.
Oh, I didn't realize she couldn't join at her own computer. Okay, that's what I was asking.
No, not on your computer, do you? No, but you can't. Well, let's see. Yes or no?
You can use here, this computer.
What are you gonna do? You have work to do.
I can't work remote. I work remote from her computer. Midway. If that's good for you.
No, it's okay. You just stay right there.
So because I work remote. So
So Aisha, do we have everyone we need, or are we waiting on anyone else?
Okay, sorry about that. We're getting Mercedes set up.
Oh, no, no worries. Yeah, I was just asking if are we waiting for anyone else? We
Mhm.
have everyone. Yeah, that's all I was asking. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons we don't like to do these in the middle of the day, because when we get all messed up.
I see somebody else joined. Is it Juan? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to take on the break. Yeah, great.
She's gonna be driving on the computer, so I don't know. I have a notebook.
I don't know, just in case I need it, because I don't even have a computer.
Your page is fine.
Okay. Are we good to start, Aisha? Because I would think we only need, I mean, because where we left off is we basically need the invoicing part. So I would think, I don't know, I know we don't have chat today, but I would assume Cynthia's doing his part. Or rather, it might just be Cynthia who's even going to do it in actuality. So
Yeah, so it will be Cynthia, and Mercedes is here. Karen is not here. Chad is not here either. Is he out today?
Chet Walken.
Okay.
yeah. So Cynthia, do
Oh,
you?
so if you want to, Sucheta get started, then if we're starting with Cynthia, that's fine. We'll catch up over
Yeah.
here.
Okay. Cynthia, do you want to just log in and share your screen?
Okay, let's share screen first, so I do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it should share, right? You got that?
Yeah, we can see your browser. Yep, we can see your browser window. Yeah, so you should have got an email with the code. Yeah. Okay, again, so this is just 4 times. So I would suggest after this call, if you can just log in and kind of set up your two-factor authentication, that would help so you don't get locked out. Yeah. Okay. Oh, looks like can you hover over the top right? I wasn't sure which role you have been given as part of. Can you hover over the top right where your name is seen at the top right? Yeah. Yeah, let's move to the controller role. I know we haven't created an Eagle accountant yet. I know that's a generic one, so for now you can use controller role. Okay. Okay. So so yesterday where we covered is, we did the sale, we created the sales order, talked about the customer deposit, and then, and I know we skipped the manufacturing, that will be covered another day, but essentially you would have manufactured, and then the next step was the fulfillment, the pick, pack, ship. So then, so that's kind of where we left off yesterday. So the next step would be the invoicing. So in reality, this is going to be an automatic process, right? We were talking about the whole scheduled process, which we are probably going to set up at for like 8 or 9 in the night, whenever it makes sense, to kind of give you time to review any fulfillments or anything you need to by the time it gets to it. And then at night, it would run and create the invoice for anything that was shipped out. But just for the sake of this walkthrough, I don't think we we have set up the billing workflow, but we haven't scheduled it. It's just sitting out there until, during UAT, we will schedule it. But for now, we've left it unscheduled. So for now, you can just manually create the invoice. Just know that in reality, you're not going to create it. It's going to run at night. So can you, at the top in the global search bar, can you just type SO36? Because that was the one we were using yesterday. 36, 36. Yep. Yeah, yeah, that one. Okay, you can click on that. It's loading. Okay. Again, so you wouldn't do this, but for now, you can click on the bill button at the top, the button in blue. No, button there next to, yeah, that one. Yep. So everything you have fulfilled will automatically come over onto this invoice. So it usually takes a minute to load. If you scroll down, yeah, it should show you all of it. And then similarly, the freight, again, I'm not sure where freight populates it. I know we need to have a call with them yet, but assuming that they populate in the native field, it should come over on the, can you click on the blue ribbon at the middle of the screen? With the blue ribbon which says item promotion. Can you click on shipping? Yeah. So they should ideally be populating it in the shipping cost field. So for now, let's just pretend FreightPop sent it. But before you can enter that, above that, you have the shipping method. Can you just select one of the things you see? Why do you not see any shipping method? Give me 1 second. They would have populated this. Second, this is Eagle Beverage. Let me see what shipping methods have been set up. Shipping items. Again, the whole list, nothing has been set up because this would really be done in conjunction with Freight Pop. Let me see. There is a will call, Eagle Beverage. Oh, I think they have not been set up fully. I think that's why they're not showing up. Give me 1 second. So
Anybody else nervous about freight pop?
oh, sorry, were you asking me something? I couldn't hear that.
No, not really.
What was that? Oh,
I said, was anybody else nervous about freight pop?
Yeah, I'm getting nervous about them.
Having some anxiety.
You and me both.
Hmm. Let's see. Let me just save this. Okay, I just updated. It looked like the shipping item wasn't set up fully. That's why it didn't really show up. Can you refresh the screen, like the browser refresh at the top of your browser? No, you know what the bar, yeah, that one exactly. Let's just refresh. It should show up. Yeah. Now, if you go to the shipping tab, the blue ribbon, yeah, and then can you click on shipping method? Yeah, I just updated only this one for now. The rest of them were set up, but they weren't set up fully. That's why it wasn't showing up. So yeah, they would select the shipping method and then they would send over a shipping cost. Ideally, what typically we see third parties do is they send this, it's just called shipping cost this because in NetSuite, the cost and charge are really the same. That's kind of why it has it on the same field. But in reality, it's the shipping charge field. If the cost is going to be something different, then it's usually stored in a separate custom field, depending on what you're charging them versus what you're getting charged. So treat this as a shipping charge field essentially, because whatever you put in here, it goes on the invoice, it goes to the customer. So they would populate this on the item fulfillment. Usually that's what third party softwares do. And then automatically invoice pulls it over because we didn't really put anything on the fulfillment. So that's why, there was nothing in here. But let's pretend like Freight Pop sent it on the fulfillment and then it came over. So you can put the shipping cost field, you can update that to, whatever value you want, 30, 40, whatever dollars you want to put in. Just update that zero. And you want to remove the zero. Yeah. Yep. Yep. You can just have that. If you scroll up, you will see that in the summary box in the top right, it reflects there as well, and it reflects in the total. And so since invoices are automatically created, so this just pulls over whatever freight would have automatically populated on fulfillment. If there is a need to add anything manually, that'll have to be done the next day because previous night the invoice would have gotten created, but hopefully you don't need to add anything additional. Hopefully everything that the customer has to get invoiced for is already present on the line item on the sales order, or it is just the freight populated by freight pop, hoping there's nothing else that you need to add on an invoice. So ideally it shouldn't need any manual intervention. So you can just click save.
Actually, there are certain customers that have surcharges that they don't necessarily relate to the purchasing department or anybody else that just comes across as a surcharge. And
On the
it will
customer,
have to
on
be
the
added to the
customer invoice?
Yes,
We don't, what surcharge do we charge?
and we don't, but
Yeah.
vendors do.
But this is not vendors, this is customer
Okay,
invoices.
sorry,
Okay.
wearing two hats, sorry.
No problem.
No
Never
problem.
mind.
Yep. It's all customer here. Yeah, we were discussing order to cash. So yeah, anything. So as long as there's nothing because right now in the process, we don't have any approval or anything. It's just automatically posted and sent out to the customer. So right now we don't have any manual intervention step. So if there is ever a need for that, then, it would be recommended to add in like an approval step so that you have time to put that in before it gets sent out. But from everything we have heard so far, there is no manual intervention needed. So you can just click save. Again, apart from shipping costs, maybe there are other things as well that Freight populates. I'm not sure. Maybe they put a tracking number. So as long as they put things in, again, I'm just assuming based on other shipping softwares that I've seen, they usually put those data in the fulfillment and they automatically flow over as long as they put it in like the native fields. So hoping that Freight Pop does the same, so everything can automatically flow through and you don't need to, manually intervene, look up anything, add something, all that shouldn't be needed. So you can click save. Okay, so you can see the status up there. It says open. So that means it is posted. Otherwise, it would have said pending approval if we had like an approval process, which we don't. If you scroll to the bottom, you have the GL impact in the blue ribbon there next to system information. Yeah, if you scroll down just slightly lower, you bring cursor to the right. Yep, right above that in the blue ribbon. Yeah, yep, GL impact. Yeah, this is just for you to view, where it is posting. So, the income of the item posted there, the shipping, I've just for now, I've set so that shipping account, the shipping and handling, I just found that in your account and I'm assuming that's where you record the income that you get from them. But essentially, this has to be selected on each shipping method that you set up in the system. Again, Cynthia, this wouldn't be you, but I'm just telling the general, whoever is going to be setting up shipping methods, in conjunction with freight pop, because I see some shipping methods have already been set up. I'm not sure if that's the all exhaustive list, but those need to be updated with the account as well to say for each shipping method, if I use that on the invoice, where should the income be recorded? So that's what it says here. Show me one thing. Do you mind clicking on items? The items tab in the blue ribbon? Yeah, right above that, items, where it says items, promotions. Yeah, if you're not clicking on items. Okay, and this one. Give me 1 second. Let me check why is the location. Did we set a different location? It says 50. I guess that is what was set up. Okay. Looks like that is what was put on the sales order. I was just wondering why. It looks like at the header K64 was selected, but at the line K59 was selected. So that is why if you look at the GL impact, the income always is at the line level, right? The income is always to the location, which is at the line level. So since K59 was selected, that's why in the GL impact, if you see in second line, it shows K59 because that came over from whatever was on all this is sourced. So whatever is the line level location of sales order, that is the same thing which comes on invoice, and that is where the income GL impact is. So I don't know if that was accidental or not. Maybe at the header also they meant to select 59. I don't know, but just so that you know how it gets derived. So the AR, the accounts receivable part of leg of the GL impact is from the header location. I mean, it's tagged to the header location, and line level location is where the income goes. So just from a segmentation perspective, I just want to call it out. And similarly, I think the items, there would have been a class. I think this item didn't have a class tagged on it on the item master. So nothing got sourced on the sales order. So it didn't get sourced on invoice. But if you did have a class, which you would ultimately on all your items, then that will again flow through. And on the GL impact, you will see that as well. At the header level, I don't think we did not really expose the class because classes are usually at an item level. At a header, it usually doesn't make sense because you could have different items belonging to different classes in the same order, sales order. So usually header class people don't use. So usually the AR is not tagged to any class. But if you do intend to tag it, we can expose that field. Right now, the field is hidden at the header, if that makes sense. Similarly,
Yeah, that's what you want to do.
yeah.
Sorry, say the question again.
Do you want to tag a class at a header level? Because classes are usually at an item level and they just get sourced on the line level, right? Because each item could have a different class. You're selling 3 items in an order. They could have 3 different classes. So usually class doesn't make any sense at a header level, which would mean that the AR leg of the GL impact will not have any class tagged. So the question was, will you be setting a class at the header level? So do you want the class exposed at header level? Because right now it's hidden.
The sales order header?
Yeah, sales order, invoice. We're on an invoice right now. So yep.
Well, yeah, either. I don't. I mean, the sales will go to that item class.
Correct. That's correct.
I don't think it's necessary at all. If
Yeah.
anything, I just want to know what class of account, type of customer they are, but that's not even.
Yeah.
That'd be on a different report, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't see any need for it.
Yeah, that's, I mean, we hit the department too, by the way. I don't know if you want the department at the header level. I don't know if you select departments at sales orders. We usually don't see people do that, but if you do, then we can expose the department as well. Usually,
That all comes from the item, so
yeah,
the department, it
from a
doesn't
sales.
really matter on a sales.
Yeah, it's more on the vendor bill and everything side. Yeah, like your expense bills and everything. That's where we see it. Okay. Okay. Then we want to expose. So yeah, this is kind of the GL impact that you're going to see, except for the fact that you're going to see a class on line 2, which you don't see right now, but this essentially would be the GL impact. Okay. So invoices again, pretty straightforward because this is all going to be automatic. Again, you don't need to check the GL impact. This is just what I was showing you because all of this happens behind the scenes, it creates. And then if you click on the blue ribbon, can you click on communication, Cynthia? Yeah, that one. Yep. If you scroll down, yeah, so we have the automated invoice emailing feature as well. So we put a workflow in for that. So it automatically emails that invoice PDF. Again, this is only for non-EDI customers, of course, because EDI customers get their own, what is that, 810 or 8, whatever that EDI is. So for non-EDI customers, we send an email. Again, this is where I think right now, I don't think we've received any email template yet. So just using some standard verbiage. So if we could get an email template set up in the system, we can use that, and there can be some standard verbiage. But yeah,
If
you
a
can.
customer wants it emailed earlier, can we do that?
You mean even before the invoice is created?
Like right now, I'm going to use Houston's as an example.
Mhm.
They're always wanting their invoice as soon as they get their product. If they pick it up at the door, they want it right then. So I'm getting an email, please send us an invoice for PO, da, 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 da. So we posted this invoice.
Mhm.
It's now sitting in our system. It's going to email at
Instantly.
some point tonight or over the weekend.
As
But
soon as
can
it's
I
posted.
email it?
Yeah.
What?
As soon as the invoice is posted, the email goes out. It doesn't sit in there. Like if the schedule runs every day at say 8 p.m. So say they picked up in the afternoon, it'll run at 8 p.m. and it'll send out instantly at 8 p.m. It'll send out that email. Yeah. That
But
night.
can I send it? Can I send it now and have it go out, and it'll still go out again with the batch that emails at night?
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to do that for the system because there is no invoice to send an email out to them at that
Yeah,
time.
no, why would we want to do that though, Cynthia?
I'm
You-
just go ahead, Chad.
I would say when you hit save or whatever the button was, that pretty much created the invoice, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like she doesn't need to do that. That happens at night. I think what Cynthia is saying is that batch will run only at night. She's saying if they come and pick it up in the afternoon, she wants to send them an email right then and then another email at night. So that's kind of where we were talking as to why do we need to send.
no, that's sending them twice. They can wait the 4 hours.
Okay. That's fine.
So
I just
here's the thing, if they need it right there and then, they're looking for an advanced shipping notice. And that we can set up through EDI if they want to set themselves up with EDI. And they don't need the invoice the minute it picks up. They just want the ASN for it.
Okay.
Truckers should never have an invoice anyway.
Yeah, they would never.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about what I'm going through right now with current customers, and it's probably not going to be the same when we move over to the new system.
No, valid question, but
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, so that's about the invoice. The next step would be, again, whenever they make payments, right? So whenever they make the payments, that's kind of when you go through with the payment. Again, that's obviously not instant. It's not sequential. It's not like you send them the invoice and then the next day they're paying. But let's just go through the general invoice payment process. So whenever they're making a payment, which I would assume would be for a whole bunch of invoices, so you receive a payment. So what you do is you log into the system. You hover over, can you hover over customers at the top, the blue ribbon right at the top? Yeah, customers, yeah, just hover over it. Yeah, you don't have to click. Yeah, just hover. Then hover over accounts receivable. And then accept customer payments. Yeah, you can click on that. Yeah. You can click on accept customer payments. Okay. So this is where you select the customer. So let's see. I think, yeah, you can just select that same end card. I know there's only one invoice, but it's the one at the bottom, I believe. I think that's the one she used. Yeah, that'll auto-populate. Yeah, it just takes a second and then it'll populate today's date. And then this is where you select to the right, you have the bank account. If you remember last time we spoke about it, that, either you directly take it to the bank account or you take it into like an undeposited funds and then later deposit if it's a check. But I think you said you always take it directly to the account. So that's where you do it. AR, all that is auto selected. Again, if you wanted to tag a location on this payment record, you can. I don't know if that makes sense to do or not, but you do have the option to do it.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And then you click, yeah, all of those are populated. You don't need to select any of those. And then if you scroll down to the apply tab, this will show you the list of all their open invoices, right? In reality, you'll probably have a whole bunch of them. Either you can click the pay all button if they're paying everything. Otherwise, if they're paying specific ones, you'll select the checkbox against specific ones that they want to pay, right? And then if they were taking any of the open credit memos that they had out there on your books, you would select that. So next to the invoices tab, you see credits there. Let me find my annotation. Yep, yep. You can click on that just to see. Yeah, there are no open credits for this customer, but if there were, you could select that so that it lowers the amount that they need to pay. And then you go to on the blue ribbon next to apply, you have payment method. If you scroll up, now the payment method in the blue ribbon, just scroll slightly above. Yep, that one. Yep. And then, yeah, you can just select what payment method. Say they're paying by check, you'll select check, and then, and then below that you have check number, you can put their check number. Right now, we're not integrating credit cards, so yeah, you can ignore the rest of the fields. Yeah. You can just ignore the rest of them. And then yeah, I think maybe you're pressing tab or something, so it's just going to each
Yeah,
field.
I'm tabbing.
Yeah, that's why it goes into each field. Okay, so once you're done with that, you would just click, again, you're taking all the payments and then you just click save. I know right now it's just one invoice, but the other thing to note again, to remind you all, is either the customer can pay for themselves, or if they were part of a parent child, the parent can pay for the children. So if at the header level on the customer field, if you had selected the parent, then you would see all the invoices which are for that parent directly, as well as any open invoice for any of their children. So that's, of course, the parent can do. And I know last time there was a question as well. I know we answered it, but I just want to reiterate again, like, you can't have, only a parent can pay for a child. Like, one child cannot pay for another child's customer, or like, two unrelated customers cannot be paying for each other or having the credits applied to each other and things like that. It's only possible for a parent to do that for their child invoices. Because I know there was a question on that last time.
So when it's
Mhm.
paying by credit card,
Mhm.
does NetSuite process the credit card?
No, for now, the decision I think that was made was not to integrate it in this phase. So you're kind of processing it offline and just recording that payment in NetSuite here. There's no direct integration as of now.
So we're not processing it through NetSuite, we're doing it through our credit card data platform.
Exactly. Yep. For
Just applying the
live.
payment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So that's why for now you're not going to be storing any credit card information or anything in NetSuite. You'll just really be saying on that payment method, you'll just select credit card as the thing, and then you'll just record the amount. You're not going to store their credit card number or any such thing in NetSuite for now.
Okay, you can leave those fields blank and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
apply the payment. Got it.
exactly. Yeah, those are just available so that in the future when you integrate, all that should ideally auto-populate. Ideally, there's like a whole token system and everything, and on the customer master, you store the credit card and then it should process and bring that over here and everything. So for now, you can leave all of those blank.
Okay.
And the other point that was brought up during about payment was the bank fee, the bank fee that you were talking about. And if you remember, we had suggested there were two different ways of doing it. One was like a make deposit workaround. The other one where I believe you all landed with was you said you will create like a separate invoice for the bank fee, and then you were going to apply the payment against that. Was the path that I believe that was chosen during walkthrough one.
That's
So
correct.
yeah, so you'd just be creating a standalone invoice for that bank fee, which is why the recommendation was to create that bank fee as another charge item. Not sure if that's in the system yet, but that would be the process. Either you create it, I would assume, I'm not sure about the timing of when you create that, but maybe it's probably right before you take the payment. But either way, it just needs to be in the system before you take the payment for that bank fee. Because I assume when they pay you the lump sum, it includes the bank fee. So you just need to make sure the invoice is in there before you're recording the payment.
Why can't the payment be posted as unapplied and then the bank fee added and applied later?
You could do that. I just thought you'd want to do it because at the time of applying, I thought you'd want to select it. If you want to keep it undeposited, that is fine. I just thought it would be easier if you just do it beforehand, right before you apply. It's probably the easier to do. But if you want to leave it undeposited, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can work both ways.
Yeah, that's what will totally allow you to leave it. You'll just say unapplied. At the top right summary, it says applied and unapplied. See that summary box there? Yeah, so it would say like there would be like an unapplied payment on the customer's account. So if you haven't applied, yep. Yeah, you just increase that payment amount under the apply tab, and then you'd make it higher, and then the invoice would be lower. So whatever is the difference will stay unapplied until you create an invoice for it and apply. Yep. Yeah. Any other questions on payment? No? Very good. Okay, I'll take that as you're good with it. The next one would be from the AR perspective would be the customer statement. So if you hover over customers, I believe it should be in the same navigation at the top. Yeah, and then accounts receivable. And then, yeah, it says generate statements. It's like 5-6 options below. Yep. So there were two options there, if you remember. Oh, sorry, did it go to the right one? Transactions, is that what it looks like? Where is it? Print. Okay, that is what it looks like. Okay, so there were two options. Either you can print for a whole bunch of different customers, or you can print for individual customers. So right below the generate statement, there was another option called like print individual one. So you could select either of them. This one is for like a whole bunch of them. And then you select the statement date, which defaults to today. And then you have certain options there in the header. It says include zero balances and then show only open transactions. So if you wanted to show only open ones, you'd click that checkbox to the right that you see. It says show only open ones. Yeah, that's what you want to show them. And then if this were like a parent-child consolidated statement, then you would check mark that consolidated statement as well. Otherwise, you don't need to do that. And then you'd select all the customers for whom you want to print it. Yeah, so either you select them individually or above that you have another check mark right below the customize button, in which case if you wanted to print for all, that's the one you would select because that checkbox acts as a mark all. So either of the two. I know last time there was a question. I don't remember, Chad, if we answered it last time or not, but you were asking about emailing in bulk. So there is an option to do that, but unfortunately, it doesn't give you any, like there's no screen which tells you what verbiage and what it just uses like the system defaults, and we don't get to control that action. So if you hover over actions, Cynthia, you see those buttons at the top or bottom, wherever you are. Yeah. Then it says email. Yeah, you can click email. It's loading. It kind of instantly sends it off, and it just uses the the primary email which was on the customer, the native email field, which I believe yesterday we renamed to, what did we rename to? Let me check. The first one, yeah, we were renaming that to the order acknowledgement one. So that's the one it kind of sends it off to. It doesn't really give you much control. That's why people usually don't use that functionality there to email. But if you wanted to, you could use that. Otherwise, you print an email separately, you know, or you could have an automated workflow which sends out invoice every month. Like a lot of people do that. They, have a bunch of customers who need it every month. So they might like, check some box or something like a custom field on the customer master which says, hey, they need it emailed every month, and then a workflow can go once a month and just email it out to them. With the workflow, you get a little bit more control over what the verbiage is and to whom it goes and things like that. Or you can
They
individually.
email to me.
Sorry, what was that, Cynthia?
This is what it looked like. It was emailed to me.
Yeah, yeah. I believe we had just cleaned it up a little bit and we had sent it out for your feedback. But yeah, this is kind of what it looks like right now. The bill too is empty only because if it was empty on the invoice, it's empty. But otherwise, all that will be filled up. Yeah.
Some good options at least.
Yep.
Better than what we're doing now.
Okay. Any other questions on statement? Otherwise, we can move to the next topic. Then is there any other question from the AR side in general, I should say? Oh, the other thing, let me just show you is the AR aging report. So you might have a shortcut here as well, but I don't know where your shortcut is. But can you hover over reports there? Yeah, to the right next to financial. Yep. And then scroll down. You have customers / receivable a little bit further down. Yeah. Further. Yeah, customers. Yep. And then to the right, you see AR aging. You can click on that. Now you can just click on AR aging directly. Yep. Now this went to the detail. I think you click on view detail. At the top, do you see view summary next to the name? You know the name of the report where it says AR aging detail, top left? Yeah, just click on view summary. Yep. Yeah. This was the AR aging report. Yeah, don't click on the detail yet. So this shows you in the various buckets. The default buckets are all like 30, 60, 90, greater than 90. That's kind of what you see. So you see the dates in each bucket and then it tells you how many days it is and gives you the open balance for each. And if it's if there is, again, it'll only show you customers here who have an open balance. That's why you don't see a whole bunch of your customers. And again, if you had like a parent child, you would see it hierarchical. You really only have one operational subsidiary, so it honestly doesn't matter. There isn't really separate subsidiaries. If you wanted to change the aging buckets, Cynthia, at the bottom where you were clicking on subsidiary next to that aging options, the button, yep. So here you see it says 3 bands of 30 days. If you wanted to change it, you could, right? If you wanted like, I don't know, 3 bands of 45 days each or something else, you could do that. And the aging is based on due date. That's kind of what you wanted as well. So that's what it is. And if you change anything in the filter here, you have to click on the refresh button at the bottom, otherwise to see the updated report. But other than that, you have certain options at the bottom right. If you wanted to, extract this into an Excel or anything like that, you have options at the top, at the bottom right. Yep. You have Excel, you have CSV, PDF, and a Word document, I believe.
So if you change like you were saying, 3 to 45, and then, obviously you get logged off and you come back tomorrow and run it, is it going to go default to what we're looking at now? Or does it go to
I can't remember if it, because some preferences remember are like sticky preferences. They remember what the user did last. I cannot recollect. I might have to check and see if this one's a sticky preference or not. It depends. You
And
have
it only would be what Cynthia's looking at. She doesn't change it for what I would look at.
Yeah, this is just hers. This is not like globally doing anything. This is just her changing hers. Yeah, this is not a system preference or anything. It's an
Just curious.
individual. Yeah. Yep. And then the other option that you saw there, right? Next to the summary, you have the view detail, which kind of shows you the detail behind all of these. You can even individually see the detail. Like if you see any amount there, right, in the report, which is like say $25 there, right? Many of them are zero, but you see $25 or any of the amounts, like $300 there. If you click on that $300, it'll show you what it's made up of. Uh, can you click refresh? Sorry, I don't know why it says it expired so soon. Yeah, I'm not sure which amount you clicked on, but yes, so it just tells
I
you
did the 25.
25 and okay, that's what it showed. Sorry, I thought we clicked on 300. But yeah, it just shows you what it is made up of. And then you can always go back to summary if you want by clicking on that back to summary button. But yeah, it does give you the details of what makes up each amount. Yeah. And of course, like with any other report, if you really needed to customize it, at the bottom you have next to the refresh, you have the customize button. You can change the filters. You want to change, add more columns or anything like that. You will be able to click on customize and do that if you needed to. But aging report, I would assume would be pretty standard. Any questions on the overall AR side of things?
Not for me.
Yeah. Okay, Cynthia, you good too?
I'm good.
Okay. The next thing that we just want to go over was the special order PO process, which was essentially, you're buying something right when you need it, right? Like you're buying something from the vendor only when you get a customer order for it. I cannot recollect the example, but Aisha, you did say you have that as a valid use case. I forget what the use case was.
Um, when we want to buy something that's a special order, but I think it's the custom flavors and packaging. So because some of these customers own their own labels.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it's not really an inventory. Is it an inventory item? Do you
it
maybe?
is labels,
Is-
flavors that we buy for the customers, and we can only use it for that customer.
Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, so that would be like a special order process. Only when you get the sales order, that is when you are really putting a purchase order in for that. Do you want-
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So only if you're doing that would you use it as a special PO. If you are in general ordering it, then it's just a PO which is not really linked to the sales order. Only when you want to buy it only after an order comes in, that is when you use a special order PO process, because in that case the purchase order is linked to the sales order and you can fulfill the sales order only after the purchase order has been received. So it's only in that use cases that you use a special order PO. So do we want to go through that, or are we saying it? What do you want
I
to do?
mean, I think so. Although I think it might be something Max needs to see, because we do have one customer, it's like they place an order for something, then we'll issue the order out to our overseas partner and say, okay, now please produce this. The lead time's 3 months. They know that. So, yes.
Okay. So do we have somebody to create the sales order? Because I don't think I see.
Yeah, I mean, I can make a sales order.
Okay.
Cynthia, you can
Yeah,
probably
I'm
stop
gonna-
your screen now.
Yeah. Let me get there. Hold on. The meeting. Where's the meeting here?
Oh, I haven't logged into NetSuite in a while.
It's the stop share button at the top. You see it in red. Yeah.
How do I unshare?
Yep.
You're done.
You're good.
I'm done?
Yep.
Yep. You're done as in you're done unsharing. That's all. You're not done for the day.
You can mute and listen now.
Yeah.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yep, I can.
Okay, so I think I'm actually logged into the regular one, so let me get into the no, I'm in the sandbox. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how yours looks so fancy. Yours looks very different. I don't know what you've done, but yeah.
I changed it.
Sandbox icon? How do you change just the icon? Oh, you changed your overall appearance.
I
Okay.
customized mine, yeah.
Okay, okay. That's why your UI looks very different from everybody else's. Yep.
All right, so sales.
Mm-hmm. Enter sales.
Who's laughing?
It's Nancy.
Somebody's laughing at me.
We're not laughing at you.
Hmm, feels like it.
We're laughing with you.
Funny.
I'm laughing at.
You're boring.
Really?
Chad dives under the bus head first.
All right, so this one, the build tube. Items.
Do you have a special order item set up? You know?
Don't know. Oh, this item might not be in there.
Are you
How
looking
do
for
I
the
know?
list of it?
So this is a really weird question, but if I just want to look up my items right now that are available to sell in
Mhm.
general, I just got to go, I have to open up a new browser window, don't I?
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, it does show you here the list, but that won't be just available to sell. If you want to see only in stock items, we might need to create a search for you because you can see whole list of items if you want. Like in your drop down, it would have shown you whole list. You know, like yesterday, how she was looking at the pop-up window, that will show you the full list,
Yeah.
not just what you can sell. If you need just what is in stock, I think we'll need to create like a simple saved search for you too.
So
Sorry, something happened to your window. I see some green. I don't know what is this. Like a green shadow over here.
my share is gone.
Yeah, now I see it. Yep, now I can see it.
So maybe I'll do this one. This item is not set up to order though.
We can, yeah, if there is one item, I can just quickly set it up to order. Like any of these $0, I mean, the zero availability ones, do you want me to just, I can just quickly set up the vendor on it. I can just select
Yeah,
it.
so if you want to just set up for like this item here,
The number
to
one.
order.
Would you mind giving me the SKU number? I can type it out. 11.
111-28706.
Okay. So that is the straw 10.5 core. Let me. Is there a specific vendor that you want me to set it up to be purchased from?
If there is a TAN Tom or a TTK, I don't know how we put it in.
Let me see if I can find that. So you said TANTTK?
No, TAN space TUA. How do you spell that? TAOU.
Oh, there's nothing starting with TAN, at least tells me there is nothing.
Is there anything starting with TTK?
TTK, let me try. No. There's some, do you want any of these? What is this? Butter Buds Food Ingredient, Culligan, Seattle? I don't know. I'm just telling you.
Send it to anybody. Culligan is fine. No, we don't care about Culligan.
Oh, sorry, I lost that Culligan. What was the spelling? Now I don't see it. What was it CUL or COL? Culligan. Yep, I found it. Yep. And what should I put the purchase price as? Should be like
$15.
$15. Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna just set this up as a. So again, if this is an item which is always going to be special ordered, as in only if I ever get it. I know this is not the right item to use, but I'm just saying in general that if it's an item which is always going to be special ordered, that is when you select the special order item checkbox on the item master and say, and then set up the, preferred vendor and everything and say this is what it's always going to be. But if it's an item that sometimes you special order, sometimes you just take it from stock, then you don't want to check that box. You will manually click the link on the sales order when you need to order it,
Yep.
special order. So that's one thing to note. But for now, I'm just checking the box. I know this is not the right item anyways. Preferred vendor and price setup. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say preferred. Okay, it's saving it. Okay, so yeah, now can you select the item now? It should show up. Give me 1 second. This one does have stock. Okay, this one did select. Okay. So you can see there, right, under the create PO to the left, it
Yep.
said, yeah, it said special order. It tells you the vendor. So that's how you know that it is. If for whatever reason you didn't want it to be special ordered for this sales order, you could click on that field there and clear it out, and then it will just take it from stock. It won't, yeah. But no, the create PO one, yep. You just clear it out if you didn't want it. But for now, I think we want it, so maybe we
Yeah.
leave it. Yeah. Yeah. And then usually if you had other items, you could like it's not like the entire order needs to be special order. If you wanted some other, if they ordered other things which were in stock and or something you manufacture, they could all be on the same sales order, because a special PO is at a line level. It is each line which is either special ordered or not. It's not that the order is at a whole special order. So, yeah.
Please enter a value for the amount. Value where?
Oh, your rate is empty. Next to price level, you have the rate. The rates are not set up on the item master, the selling rate.
Oh, so can we change that word rate to dollar? Or
Sure.
rate or amount?
It is rate and amount, both are there, because rate into quantity, what you're supposed to enter is rate, amount is automatically calculated. So do you want me to? Yeah, you shouldn't enter amount, really should enter the rate, and then it will multiply by the quantity. Yep, and then it shows it to you.
Okay.
And ideally, you shouldn't have to do this because it should come from the item master, right? It's just that right now the items are not fully set up. So, oh God, every customer of ours is set up with someone. What is this customer?
Yes, then.
Okay, I don't know. Why were they? Do you know why they were set up at $0? You don't want to sell anything to them?
Culligan wouldn't have a credit limit.
It's not Culligan, it's bundle.
Oh, Bensel?
Mhm.
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Do you want to select the yesterday's customer? Uh,
Fine, I'll do that.
what was that? The Endicott. I think we gave it a better. Because I haven't changed anything since yesterday on the preference side. Though I can do that right now. Let me just do that before I forget.
That's why I think it's very helpful to at least have the credit balance or credit something over here, so we
Mm-hmm.
will be able to see what's what's happening.
Yeah, and we are anyway setting it to warning, right? We're going to set the system wide as well as warning, but yes, we can add the field as well. So,
Sure. Yeah.
do we have a shipping address? Can you check? I can't remember if yesterday we put a shipping address. That's one thing we might want to just check. On the shipping tab. Yep. To the right, that shipping address, it says unnamed address ship to. Okay, apparently that is the ship to address is there. Okay, that one. Yep. It'd be good to save it.
Oh, it's busy thinking.
Mm.
All right. Oh, shoot. I only ordered 40 of them, or one of them.
You can change the quantity. It's still you have the edit access, so you can change. You can click edit and change it. Yeah.
I wanted to enter, let's see.
Yeah.
This thing is very tricky.
It's the where's the quantity field? I think it's to the right. Yep, ordered. Yep.
I wanted to order, how many come in, I think? Whatever, just order 400 or something. Here we go. Okay, there it is.
Because you're the admin, you see the
Approve
approve
it.
button as well. Yeah, you can approve since you're an admin. Let's approve it. It's loading. Yep, it is approved. Now, if you scroll down, so it's only after approval that the PO gets created. So if you scroll to the right, you should be able to see no, the bottom box. Why not?
Bottom box.
The box here where you see rate, remember next to that you had like the special order and
Oh,
all
that
the
box.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That scroll bar is very tricky and very, yep,
It created there.
yep. So if you click on that, so that's where it's linked. Yeah, that's how you see it's a linked one. And you can see here it has whatever item. So if you had like a whole bunch of items on that sales order, and if only one of them was special ordered, that's the only item that gets pulled over. Let's say there were 10 lines and 2 of them were special ordered and both of them were to the same Culligan, then both of them will appear here. But you could have 2 lines where you're getting it from 2 different vendors, then they would have been 2 different POs. So that's kind of how system will combine. It was tagged only on one, so that's what it showed up. And this again goes through the typical PO approval process, which I cannot recollect what it is. I don't have Suraj here, but we will
No,
just.
that's fine. So then Max would see that on his
Mhm.
dashboard that there's a PO or pending approval.
Pending please approval. Yep.
The thing is, I'm actually like, so I am an admin. I can't see that workflow unless I get out of here and go into purchases, correct? Or
You should still be able to see, like if there's a saved search that he's looking at, you should also be able to see that saved search. It's just you don't see the approve reject buttons because I'm not sure
Yeah.
according to the workflow who approves it. Is it only Max? So because I don't remember off the top of my head the PO approval workflow, I just need to look at the documentation. But whoever has been given access according to the workflow, they are the ones who see. I think it's given to a specific role. Maybe admin wasn't given. Maybe it's only that specific role. So that's determined by the workflow as to who sees the approve and reject button.
okay.
Yeah. So in sales order, we gave it to admin as well. We usually try to give admin as a backup just in case the person who's supposed to approve is not
Yeah.
there. We might just have to do that here as well. At least to begin with, we always give admin access. So maybe we want to do that for PO as well. Let me see. Are you able to, let's see if they've graded out. Can you click on edit on the edit button there? Yeah. Let's see if you're able to at least change the drop down or is that, oh, that is grayed out. Let me see if I can approve this PO 79. Oh, apparently I don't get to do that either. Give me one second. I can do a fix real quick. Just so I can go ahead with this process. Yeah. It says admin has been given access, but I don't really see it. Give me one second. I'll just enable that field and then I can at least approve it and then we can see why admin doesn't see it. Screen views, status. I'll just suspend the workflow for now. Workflows, cancel. This was PO 79, right, Aisha? That's the
Yep.
one? Okay. Let me cancel the workflow. See if now I can. Ugh.
Where did it go?
Sorry, were you looking for something? I was just getting
No,
to.
I'm fiddling.
Okay, okay. I'm just approving it. I was finally able to enable this. I've suspended the workflow for now. Okay, I was able to approve that PO. So if you refresh the screen, you should see it is. Okay, so now you see the status above. It says pending
Pending
receipt. Yeah, so now you're able to send. I don't think you have any automated email sending in a PO, right? You just manually send it.
Yeah, you manually send, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what you'd be doing. You'd be sending that out. If you look at, so on a, I don't know how much customization has, I know, I think he sent out the PO, I think incorporating the feedback, I think he's probably awaiting feedback. Again, I wasn't there on Monday session, so I'm not too sure if that's where we are at with the PDF. But if you open the PDF, you might have to be in a view mode to see it. Yeah, just either click save or cancel. I mean, I don't think you made any change, right? You were just fiddling. Yeah, you can just say cancel. It should, yeah. And then if you click on that print icon, yeah, then print out, it should have the ship to address should be huh, is it what we selected as the ship to?
Yep.
Can you go back to the PO? Because, oh yeah, this is a special order. Yeah, sorry, I kept thinking about drop ship. Yeah, yeah. So it has your address itself. So yeah, never mind. I was thinking of drop ships. I forgot you don't use drop ships. So yeah, this again, same. So in that case, there's no real change in the PDF. So again, normal process, email it out, whatever you do there, that follows the same process. The same process of receiving all of that you do with a typical PO is followed here as well. So do we have somebody to receive this in WMS on the session?
We do. I think Austin is here or
Okay.
there, right?
I'm here.
Yay. Okay, so I'm trying to get out of this. Where goes the cancel button? All right, there. All right, so I will stop the sharing and you can start sharing.
Okay, I'm on my phone right now. Let me get on my computer.
Stop sharing. I said stop sharing. Huh. Oh, there it is. I had to make it larger. Okay, so share, stop. Oh, I think I already stopped. Did I already stop?
No, we still see a screen.
Okay.
There's only a share button.
Yeah.
Should be a red button that you should
I
see.
know, there should be.
Yeah.
Or do you want to just close that window? Since you're only sharing the window, if you close the window, it should ideally go away.
Yeah, you have to close.
Oh, here it is. It's open here. That's why. Why is that open?
My screen
Yeah,
can
right.
cross my screen.
The computer in the warehouse isn't letting me join the meeting.
Are you, do you want to go to the office? I don't know if
Yeah,
you're,
I'm heading there right now.
I think I stopped sharing.
Yep, you did.
Okay.
Finally, yes.
I have two screens and I couldn't figure out where anything was. That's why I only like one screen.
While Austin, gets to his desk and logs on, I just wanted to talk about one thing that we discussed yesterday. I was just talking to Jackie as well, since it involved WMS. Where you said sometimes you need to fulfill more than what you have, like if the sales order might say, I don't know, 100 units, you want to fulfill like 102 because you're using WMS. So WMS doesn't really allow overage. I kind of checked into it as well, and I asked Jackie to check on her setup and if she could find something. So it really doesn't allow. So the way you have to do overage in if you're fulfilling through WMS is you'd have to increase the quantity on the sales order, kind of
Yep.
release it out only then. So it has to be reflected on. So there's like you have to update sales order to reflect the quantity that you want to, fulfill. So only then it'll let you fulfill, because otherwise it'll say, nope, I'm not going to let you fulfill more than what's the quantity on the pick task.
So that is the same in Great Plains. And typically the customer service will go through and look at the production and then update the sales order based on what is being made, what has been made.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think what we were looking at is before the order is released to WMS or to a order picker, that the quantity is updated, and then so somebody in the warehouse is able to update that, or the production. So I'm trying to remove customer service from doing the oversight that production does and warehouse does, right? So customer service needs to be out of checking both those departments. So both of those departments, if production makes 102, then someone in the warehouse can go through and change the order to 102, or does it have to come back to customer service as a best case, sort of best practice?
It really depends on how you want to set it up in your business. If you don't mind the production manager having, it's just that their role has to be set up to have access to it. They absolutely can. It's whatever works for your business. So if they are the ones doing it, then they can just update it on the sales order. Yeah, we just need to make sure the roles have access to it. So
Austin's at my desk, so he's logging into NetSuite right now.
Yay. Yeah, so what I think the work, there does need to be a workflow, because we're asking the warehouse to release the orders based on the availability of production. So if we're asking them to do that, they have to be able to go in and change the quantities or update the quantities based on what production does. We're also asking the warehouse to be very well, that they're moving the product from warehouse to a bin, to another bin, to a staging bin, and then out the door, right? From a production side. So, the whole full life cycle of once it's made. So to me, they're the ones who really know the quantities. They're the ones who know, they're validating how much production made. They're moving it from A to B to C to D. And therefore, I want to give warehouse, the warehouse manager some ability to change those work orders. Now, they shouldn't be able to change much more, but I'm trying to figure out what that workflow looks like so that they start to take the ownership of what was produced.
Gotcha. So they'll change it on the work order first, and then they'll be changing it on the sales order, is what you're saying. They'll be changing there as well to say, so they will, yeah, which they have to, right? Because only then the inventory will come into the system.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, again, this comes back to the same question. Are you using special work order, which I know you said you haven't yet discussed with Jackie, because there are two types of work orders, right? They're tied to the sales order or they are standalone. I'm not sure how it all works with Blend, whether you're using standalone work orders or are you tagging it to here, because it's different. It's, what do you call it? It's a different notion in the system depending on how it is, right? If it's standalone, there's really no linkage to sales order. There's no direct linkage. I don't know if you're using custom field or something to figure out if it's for that, versus if it is natively linked, it would be linked similar to a special PO. Like similar to special PO, on each line, you'll have a work order linked. And I think in that case, I think it even prompts you, I believe it gives you error, it gives you a message as well on the sales order. It kind of prompts you to say like, hey, you kind of need to increase the quantity on the sales order type of thing. So
we are using a special
Yeah.
work order for that,
Okay.
because yes, it is custom made for a customer. It's based on demand. So if we see that they put an order for it, there are some items that would be definitely based on demand, and that's the custom stuff.
Okay.
So again, we haven't seen fully Jackie's thing yet. So once we do, I guess we'll have a better handle on that.
Yeah.
The workflow that I'm trying to break right now is having customer service watching production, receipts, warehouse receiving, warehouse picking, and then quantity picking, and then going back and changing orders, right? That's right now, that's the workflow that I am trying very hard to disrupt, because
Yep.
it's not an efficient one.
Yep. Especially if it's a special work order one. I believe it gives you some kind of prompt itself. So the production manager who is updating the work order should be the person who's updating the sales order as well. It really shouldn't have to, need somebody else, like you said. So they should be able to do that themselves, like as long as we give them access. It should be an
Okay.
instant process. They update work order, they should instantly update sales order. I forget if system prevents you from updating work order until you update sales order. I can't remember that, whether it makes you first update sales order. But either way, I do know there's a pop-up which kind of tells you that it's a tied transaction, that it is tied to something else, which has a different quantity. So either way, they should be able to update. They should be the ones doing all of that, instantly right there, and not having
Okay.
to communicate to somebody else and have them do it, or somebody else watch out for them. Yep, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay. All right.
We ready?
Yep. So let's log into. I was just going to ask. So the kind of warehouse managers we are talking about. So is that Austin or is that somebody else we're talking about? The
Well,
production
right
manager.
now it's Austin. He's learning the process. So, and then he'll work with training, and we'll get more people involved as we need to. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The reason I asked is, I think if Austin is not going to be the one using scan gun and everything, he should really be given a role which, has access to like a whole bunch of transactions over there. Along with this, again, a person can have multiple roles, because this role is specifically meant to be used only for the WMS module. So it might, I don't know if this one it might not have access to other things that you need access to. So we could like give him two roles so that, when he's not really logging into the scan gun, which he's really not for the most part, I would think he can just use the other role to do ERP stuff, updating sales order, updating work order, and things like that. So we can see where we land with the role there.
Yeah, so the warehouse is a bit understaffed right now, so that's one problem that we have. But the second problem is that we haven't seen Freight Pop. So I actually still have no clue how WMS and Freight Pop are going to interact and what role Austin's going to have to play in this. So right now, I just need more visibility on what that looks like.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
So we'll give him what he needs as soon as we know what it is we're doing.
Yeah. As long till you need the elusive Freight Pop to appear before you and like at least show you what you're doing. So, okay, so Austin, do you want to again hover over the same mobile emulator, the blue ribbon? In the blue ribbon at the top, you see WMS reporting, configuration, mobile emulator.
Say that again.
Yeah, that one. And then mobile emulator again. If you hover over that and click on mobile screen. Okay, and then you click on NetSuite WMS. And then, sorry, let me check which location this was. This is K59. Okay, and then you click on receiving, purchase order. Then you can do select PO from list. First button there. Yep. And then the first one there, PO 79. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, click on the item. Okay, you put in a lot number. I mean, in reality, you would scan it, but yeah. So now just enter something in.
Type in today's date. 0418. Yeah.
Yep, and you want to put in an expiry date.
2 years. I think you might have to follow that format.
Yeah, to the right it says mm/dd.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and then you
Oh,
can.
that one's fine.
No.
That one's that's a lot number. That that's not a date.
Yep, and then click
Right.
enter count. Yep. Okay, and you put the quantity in. You know, just put 400. What we receive. Enter quantity. And then this should show you inbound staging, the second one. Put it in the staging bin. Yep. Okay, and then you click on main menu. We need to basically post the item receipt. Click on receiving again. And then post item receipt at the bottom right. Yep. Then purchase order. Yep, PO 79. And you can click the post item receipt button. Should receive it. Okay, so you have received it. Can you I don't know if somebody else needs to log in, but I feel like if your role has access to POs, we can just see the receipt in that role itself, but you just need to get out of this mobile app. Can you click on the, yeah, I feel like every time you log out, it brings you back into this itself. I think we might need to try the same trick as yesterday in the browser. In that search, yeah, can you just type in NetSuite and then see if it brings you, yeah, the home. Yeah, let's see if that takes you to the right one.
Oh, yeah, pick it up.
Better?
Is your caps lock on or something? Because if you try like I think 5 times, you'll get locked out.
No, it's not on.
No, it's pressed the mic question.
Oh, I think you might get locked out now.
Doesn't like you.
I don't know, that's not working. Oh, do you have the pass lock or whatever? Does it have to be used?
No, I mean, I have my one password, but I don't, you should be able to log in here without going.
Or do you want me to just reset your password so that you don't get locked out? 'Cause if you get
I
locked
think it
out
was
like this,
her.
yeah.
I think it was her pass lock.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah. Shall I just reset your password? Otherwise, you'll get locked out and then you can't log in for like 15 minutes or something. There's some time duration.
Okay, that's fine.
Wait a second.
So I'm just gonna be honest, but this is my biggest fear is that I'm gonna be having to reset passwords all day long.
You need an admin who will do true admin work.
No, people have to manage their own passwords.
That's what I'm
We actually have one password. We have an account for one password for this company, so everyone can use their own, save their password somewhere.
and not have to remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. I'm just initiating password reset. Okay, you should have gotten an email now, Austin. Similar to what you did yesterday. Okay. It got you. Oh, you didn't get to this yesterday? I would
I did
guess.
this today. I did this today before the
Oh,
meeting started.
oh, because I didn't reset that. It should have taken it. Yeah, because I did not reset that one. I don't know why it's asking you again. Okay. Yeah, so what I was saying is, can you type at the top in the search bar PO79? I hope your role has access to it, but let's see. Yep, you do have access. 79. Yeah, if you just click on it, again, you don't need to necessarily do that, but since you're anyway logged in, I thought might as well see. Just making sure. So it's in a pending bill status. So if you scroll down under related records, you should see, yep, the item receipt. Yeah, it's in there. So, Chad and Cynthia can probably verify it later. But essentially now the PO is received. Now you are free to essentially fulfill. Again, the billing of this PO can happen in parallel whenever they send you the bill. All that process can go on. But from the sales order fulfillment perspective, all that the system cares about is the item should be received. It doesn't really care about the bill or anything from the sales order side of things. So once it's received, you are free to fulfill that sales order. So you'd go through again the same process of essentially creating the wave and fulfilling it out. So Austin, I would think that's again you, right? You're the one who's going to be creating the wave.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so SO37. So, okay, I forgot yesterday where your navigation was, but I think we typed it in the global search. Unless you remember, you can just type in the global search, create a wave, because I don't remember the navigation.
Le voy a dar ahí porque creo que sí.
Create wave. Yeah, I think that should
That's
take
fine.
you. Yeah, can you try that? should, yep, this does. So you want to just change the template to the eagle one. Unfortunately, this cannot be, it always defaults only to the default one, so you have to change it. And then, yeah, K59, I think that was the location, right? And then again, like I was saying yesterday, you could filter it based on further criteria as well. But for now, if you want, you can just click on search, the search button at the top. Give me 1 second. Did we forget to you know what? There was no location added at the line level on the sales order, so it could let me update the sales order to have a location at the line. I'll select K59 and then you should be able to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it couldn't commit it because it didn't know which location the items are for. Okay. It's saving the order. I'll let you know once it saves. Okay. If you click on the cancel button there, you should be able to go back and click search again. Yeah, and then click the search again. And this time it should show you the order. Yep, SO37. This was the one which was created. And then, yeah, you select the box, I mean, the checkbox. And then, yeah, you just click save. That's really all you're doing. It's been released. And again, like we had previously spoken, we are not really printing any pick ticket or anything like that. So you're just going into the scan gun. I think what's easier, I think what we should always do, Austin, I think when you are clicking, when you hover over mobile emulator, let's open the mobile screen on a new tab so that we don't lose this window. Yeah, let's just do, no, right there. When you're on that option itself, now you can go back to that window. Yeah. And then when you hover over mobile emulator, and then mobile screen, before clicking on it, just do right click. Yeah, right click and open tab. Yeah, open link in new tab. So that we still have the ERP window open. Yeah, now you can go to that SCM mobile which opened up. Yep.
So,
Yep. And K59. And then picking, single order picking, released orders, sales order, then SO37. Click on that pick task. I think you can just click on it. Yep. Okay. So this is the. Can you go back? Can you click on the at the bottom, yeah, the back button, and can you click on show all bins? Sorry, why is it? Oh, we did not. Sorry, we didn't put it away. That's why this is not. This is showing something else which was already in the system. The other one's still in the staging bin. It wasn't put away. That's why it's doing that. So let's just do the put away and put it in a storage bin before we. Yeah, I forgot to do that. We just did item receipt. We didn't do. Can you click on main menu? Yep, and then do click receiving. Yep, you can click receiving.
Where are we going?
Receiving. This is just the PO part we didn't finish, right? We didn't do the put away. Yeah, so we're just completing that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's right now still in the staging. And then you do the bin put away. And then from, I think we put in test inbound staging. Yep. Let's select the item. Yeah, today it's 706. Yep, this was the lot number. Quantity is the entire 400. Okay, I guess all the other bins are full. Yeah, I don't think we have too many bins in the system. That's why this is what it's showing. I mean, ideally, this is not the right bin. You know what? Can you? Actually, that's fine. I think we can still use it. Let's see if we are able to use it because that looked like a vendor return bin. But let's see. Can you click on main menu? Let's see if it allows us to take it out of that. Again, picking, single order picking, least sales. Yeah. Yep, you can click on that pick task. Okay, it's still not showing up the bin that you just pulled in. Give me 1 second. I'll real quick give you another bin. Let me just move that up. I think we don't have too many bins in the system, and they're already filled with items which have that condition of don't allow other items. So, storage K59. Okay, do stage direction. Give me 1 second. I think I put in everything that we need. Okay. Do you want to just do a bin transfer in the system itself here? I don't know if you've done that before or not, but yeah, if you can click on the main menu. Yep. And then inventory. Yep. Bin transfer. Do you know the SKU? Are you able to type? Or maybe you start typing, it'll show up. 111. What was that? 111. 111 287 Yeah. Yeah, that one. Exactly. That one. And then click the show all bins. The from bin is that first one. Yep, you want to move it out of that vendor return. And yeah, select the lot. Entire 400. Yep. Enter quantity. Yeah. Can you go to the bottom? Yeah, just select that. Yeah, it's showing you test 101. You can, yeah, it's not allowed to. Can you scroll down? I created a new bin. Yeah. This one doesn't allow the test storage ABC. I just created that. The third one. Yeah. There is no item in there. It should let you put it. Yep, it did. Now can you click on main menu and then again go to picking, the whole thing. We'll try picking again. Maybe third time's the charm. Yep, now it's showing you that test storage. So this is where you're picking the 400 from. Scan the item. 400. For the lot, you can scroll down. You can select it actually. You don't need to like enter it. Yeah. And then you click on show all bins. Put it in the outbound staging bin. In the second or the third one, either one is fine. Yep. Okay. So now it's picked. So again, after this, the process is the same. You know, what we were talking about yesterday, this would just be packed and shipped similar to any other regular order, right? So ideally that would be again in freight pop itself. So I don't think we need to do that here, but so the only difference really between a special order type of thing situation is that you can only, that there'll be a PO tagged to that line, and only after you receive that PO can you fulfill this sales order. That's about the only thing. So you have to make sure that receiving part is done and put away, and then you're able to do the pick, pack, and ship of the sales order as usual. Any questions overall from anyone on this special PO process? Again, I did not go through invoicing. All that is same. You have to invoice the sales order just like any other order. The billing of the PO just like any other bill. So all that still remains the same.
Okay.
I know, Aisha, we are at time. Do you still have another 10 minutes to finish up the RMA, or do we need another call next week for finishing up the customer returns? Nope. Isabella, do we have Aisha, or did some vendors come by?
Yeah, we have Aisha. 1 second. I'll go past her.
Yeah, hi, sorry, we had something going on here. What can I do?
No. Oh, I was just asking, like, we are at time. The one topic we have remaining is customer returns. So I just want to ask, does anyone have, does do people have time to continue and finish that up, or do we need another call next week? That's all I was asking.
Well, you think what, 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, I would think 10-15 minutes should be sufficient for customer returns. I don't think there's a lot in that.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of returns. My policy is I don't want it back.
Yes, but you do have credits, right? You don't want it back. But even for credits, if
Yeah,
you
no, so I think if everyone is okay, like 10 minutes or so, 10-15 minutes, we should be fine.
Yep. So is everyone
Okay,
okay?
do you still need me to share my screen?
This would be customer service. So I think this would be, sorry, do we have customer service?
Well, she just left, so
Aisha.
it's yeah. So Austin, you can stop sharing your screen. I'll start sharing mine.
Oh, yeah. So if you remember the process, Aisha, what we were suggesting, even though you're just giving them credit, you don't want any product returned back, you would still, create like an RMA so that it shows up on your screen, like so that there's some approval, right? Because credit memos don't have any approval process, so that there is some oversight. That's why we were suggesting still using an RMA, but you'll just not use the real item. You're just using like another charge item or whatever.
Sure.
And I believe the path we had said we'd follow is we'll still do the RMA from case so that you have like a support case and then do it, so that it's tied to that, which makes it easier as well. So first step is you'd create a support case to kind of figure out what's the deal. So that's under, let me check. This one is transaction. No. I think it's list support cases new. I think this is going to take you to something else. Yeah, you can just hover over lists. Yeah, support cases and then new. Yeah, you can just click new case. Yep, that's fine. Yep, similar to how you've been doing.
So we just did Endicott, so let's just do
Endicott. Yep. Oh, did we finally end up using the same one, or did we change to the other Endicott? Okay, we did use that one itself. Okay.
Yeah, I used this one last time, so.
Yeah. I think that item. I think maybe that item wasn't set up to have used. What is it called? Offer support checked. Let me just see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think yeah, this one doesn't have. Let me just quickly check it. Yeah. Ideally, I think when you're doing the next set of imports, I think you should just set everything to offer support, I think.
Oh, yes. Ahilan will make sure that happens.
Mhm.
I've assigned a support ticket to him.
You might have to refresh the screen, in which case you lose all the data if you entered a lot. But yeah. Hopefully it reflects. Yep, it did. The second item. Yep.
We entered in more types here, so I'm confused on that one, but that's fine.
I can ask Jason to check if he.
Okay, we'll save.
Yep, you can just save it. Okay, and then you click on that search transaction button there. This should show you all their. What happened? Why is it not showing you anything? Can you click on sales order? This is the right. Give me 1 second. We did do transaction sales. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure. Oh, you know what? That was the Endicott that you selected was the special PO that we just did, not the other one. And the special PO we did not, we only picked it. We didn't really fulfill it. So you might want to use the sales order that you previously created, which was the other Endicott. Because this one we only picked it. We didn't finish the whole process. Yeah. The Endicott that, yeah, the one at the bottom. Yeah, the one she created, that's the one we used. It's fully built and yeah, so you can only yeah. I'll click on search transaction. This one was peso 36. Yep, it shows peso 36 and its corresponding invoice. So you can select either of them to create the RMA against. Probably invoice is better. So you click that. Yep, and then you select the quantity. Maybe you want to have a reduced quantity there.
Submit.
Well, yeah, but the one thing that would, okay, let it pop up. I'll show you that. You can click submit because we are not truly returning the item. Give me 1 second, it's loading. So once it loads, because we don't want inventory to be impacted. So though this brought it over, you're just giving them a credit, right? They're not returning the item. So you don't want to use the true item on such RMAs unless they're truly returning it. So we should be using, like, if you remember, like we were talking about other charge items, which are coded to the right sales account, right, against which you want to give the credit. So we should be selecting that. So we should, if you scroll down, we should really be removing this line if they are not sending this, and then replacing it with the other charge item, if that makes sense, because this will impact inventory if you credit against this, which we don't want to do because they're not physically returning. So you want to click on that clear all lines button, or you can just hit remove. Right above that, there is a clear, yeah. And then, did you all end up creating another charge item first?
No, we have. I don't think we have.
You might have some random other charge item. You could even select that. At the top, you know where it says all? Can you click on other charge there? Yeah, let's just see what other charge items you have. You just have random items. Maybe for now you can select one, but essentially you need to create other charge items, and depending on how many, the number that you need to create depends on the number of different GL accounts you want to hit. If for different credit reasons you want them to hit different GL accounts, then you need to create as many other charge items, if that makes sense. Otherwise, you could just have one single one if they all go to the same account when you credit.
Is Chad still there?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
So this is that we're back to that credit memo where you have the other charge items, and typically this is where we would code it to the right GL account as the check and balance on the credit. So if we do create, so from here, go to list, right, and it says other charges. We need to have the list of the other charge items here. Most of the time it's been the sales items, right? And straws, syrups, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But you'll have to do some work and link these up if we go that route.
We would, this is
This is a credit memo.
yeah, but
Without any physical returns. Yeah.
without physical, so if you put an item number in there,
Well, we're not putting the item number. See, we're putting another charge, so we're gonna code it
Right.
differently. So,
but what I'm asking, if you put the item number, it will screw with
impact inventory. It'll impact inventory. It'll bring inventory back in and all of that. So
Yeah.
what we
Okay.
had exactly. So that's why you should just use another charge item. And we have created custom fields where you can select the real SKU. So it's still available for you to report saying why you had to credit it because of which SKU. There is a custom field, but on the native item field, you want to make sure to use another charge item. Yep. Unless they are physically returning it to you.
so I will want to give, well, either you or I can give the other charge items based on what we typically do. Transaction return.
Like a syrup return, a straw return,
Yeah.
or Well, I guess.
Basically taking it from the 0101303,000 dash whatever, all the numbers there. And then, but those will just go in as other charge. So we can still see what category we want it to go to, and then you can link it up to the right GL on your side.
Yeah,
Yeah, you only need separate items if they are going to be separate accounts tied to them. If they are all the
Yes.
same account, we can still have the same, item and
No, they're
still
all
have
different,
separate
actually.
reason. Oh, okay, then it's fine. Then then it makes
Yeah.
sense to have separate items. Okay.
And then we have the freight return and then a marketing return, those kind of credit memos. So we'll just pull out those accounts for you and then see if you approve those. Then you can link them, Chad.
yeah, so that would go to,
Like the 76, the 7606.
yeah,
And
marketing and whatnot.
yeah, the 4200 or whatever it is, the freight recovery or freight return.
Yep, those are relatively easy. So if it's like a damaged syrup for a case or something like that.
Yeah, so we would put in the actual syrup category. We just wouldn't, and then you can tie it in on your end, but we need to know what we're doing, and then we'll put in the specific item number in here too. But we're not going to put the specific item number at this high level because then we are returning inventory.
Yeah, we don't want to mess with inventory levels for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay, so that's on
sales
your.
is just one GL and then it goes to different categories, how it is in NetSuite. So that's where my brain is trying to.
Yeah. All right, so we'll have to. That's the one thing that we will have to work on. So we'll do the other charge here. Sorry, but I didn't mean to.
You can just select
get
some
out of
random.
this.
Yeah. Just select something. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you'd put, so to the right, there should be fields. If you scroll right, yeah, there should be,
Put in a quant. It's all grayed out.
yeah, not those ones. I'm seeing, why do you not see that field? Give me 1 second. Transactions. We created a field, I even saw it yesterday. So it's not those bundle fields. We created custom fields for you to put original SKU, real SKU. Actions. 1 second. Where is that field? I think we exposed that only on. Give me 1 second. Only on credit memo. Give me 1 second. I will show that to you on RMA as well. And again, just to reiterate, the reason we are recommending RMA is just so that there is an approval in place and not that they just issue the credit. If you don't want that, you could always directly create credit, but this might just be a good practice, at least initially. Sublist fields. Let me just expose that real SKU and real SKU quantity. You can enter, so the real SKU you won't be able to put in, but here at least you can put, like you're not going to see that until you save this and refresh it because that form I just changed it. But for now, at least can you put in, like, are you going to be putting in a quantity and a rate, or is the quantity just going to say 1 and you'll just put the whole amount there? How do you want to do it? Like if it's a $500 credit, do you want to say quantity 1 and then rate as 500? Or are you putting in the actual
No, we'll put in the number of cases. So we'll put in for quantity at the rate of whatever they paid.
Okay, then you can just change the quantity to whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, but I can't change this.
No, not that, the quantity field. Yeah,
Can't change it.
Yeah.
the quantity you can. Yeah. Yep,
Oh,
that one you should
all right.
be. Yeah. And then you'll have to change that price level to custom. Then you can change that rate as well. Yep.
Oh, let's see. Okay.
Okay. I'll have you save and then I can show you that real SKU where you can put the actual SKU. But for now, I think that should be sufficient. I don't think you're putting in. I believe you said you wanted like a return reason. I don't think we got the list of values. I think we do have a field in there somewhere at the line. Yeah. Okay. Now, can you scroll down? Since I saved the form, you should be able to see. Oh yeah, it's to the right. I'll move it later, but you see the real SKU. I'm going to move that to the right. You see the real SKU and real SKU quantity. I'm not sure if you wanted that quantity or not. If you want only SKU, then that's all you need to use so that you can put in the actual SKU saying, 1112876. So I'll move that
okay.
to the left. Yeah, it doesn't need to be all the way to the right. I'll move it, but that's where you add it so that we have a saved search where you can, review all the credit memos and see what SKU it was for if you want to do any kind of analysis. So it's still available and it doesn't impact GL there. So, okay, so this is the RMA. So after you're done making all the edits, you click on submit for approval. Right? Because it's an RMA, it has an approval process, credits cannot. For RMA, I believe, you as admin, you can approve, but otherwise, I believe the requirement given was if it is CSR, then CSR manager approves. If it is created by sales manager, and if the CSR manager or the sales manager creates it, then you would be the one approving it. So that's what we have right now, but yeah, admin can anyway see it, so you can approve it if. And again, this should all appear on dashboards on the right roles saying these are return authorizations pending approval. So in this case, wait 1 second, I think this item has been set to, can you scroll down and tell me which item we used? Test port fee. Let me check one thing here. So I can have that as a note for you when you're creating your real items. Give me 1 second. Test import fees. The preferences. Yes, so on the item master, you will see this in your item template as well. Even for other charge items, you have the preference to make them allowable to be fulfilled or received. The field is called can be fulfilled / received. So the fulfillment or receipt will not have any GL impact, but it's just available if it's an item which actually needed to be, for warehouse to kind of, say, yeah, we received this. So when you are setting up items for this RMA, all your return items, that checkbox should be unchecked because there really wouldn't be a receiving. It should directly go to a credit. Since this is not the true item, this item was set up to have can be fulfilled / received checked. That is why you see the receive button. Otherwise, you would directly have seen the refund button. So for now, can you just click receive? It has no meaning. You can just click receive. It's just because we are using dummy item. And just click save. Sorry, you just need to click mark all and then, and then save. This should happen with your true items. And then you can click on an RMA link again. It says created from RMA, you have the hyperlink. Yep. Yeah, so ideally all you're doing, this is how it should have shown you, refund button directly.
Refund?
Yeah, it just says refund, it's actually credit memo. It's not refunding anything. Again, anytime RMA is approved, right, there'll be again dashboard reminder which says RMA is pending credit or whatever. So again, that's how the person knows, okay, something was approved. Now I can go ahead and give the credit, right? They don't need a notification. On the dashboard, there is a native saved search. So again, they shouldn't have to change anything here because the RMA has all the data. And then you should just be able to click save because it was already approved. This is your true GL impacting transaction. So you just click save. So really the step is, so the whole RMA, you already submitted. Okay. Yeah, so now it says open. Now if you go down, you should be able to see the GL impact. Yeah, in that bar next to custom, it says, yeah. Though this one's going to have terrible accounts because, or it has the right account apparently. So yeah, so you have it's reducing your credit and reducing your income. That's your GL impact. So from an overall process perspective, it might seem like too many steps, but really it's, it's just to have the oversight. And I think you also mentioned that you often don't want customer service to just give a credit, kind of do some research. That is the reason we suggested using the support case for it, right? Otherwise, theoretically, NetSuite doesn't need you to create a support case to create a credit memo. You can just go to the invoice and directly issue credit memo. But if you want to have this type of a process, that's kind of when it's suggested to use a support case and then create an RMA from it, have an oversight of somebody saying, yeah, okay, this is okay to credit, and then the person just issues the credit.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to drop off now. So
okay, that's the only thing we had. Since you anyway don't want to do true returns, that's the last topic I had. So yep.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
Good
Have a good
weekend.
weekend.
Have a good weekend. Yep.
Thanks.